Welcome, friends, to the presentation of Marketing Yourself. I am Randy Saleh, Assistant Professor of Business, and what we're going to look at in this presentation today is what employers want, emotional intelligence, and creating our vision. According to the Wall Street Journal several years ago, and according to many of our on-campus presentations of what employers want and our business advisory meetings that the college has, there seems to be a disconnect going on for about the past 7 years of college graduates and employers' expectations. The good news is this: the tech skills of late millennials and early Generation Z employees are excellent. No question about that, how fast people can respond and adapt to new environments and adapt to technology, excellent. But it needs to be more than that. What employers are complaining about is that the soft skills are lacking. That is, writing skills, communication skills, and very much the important one is emotional intelligence. Now, again, the Wall Street Journal wasn't so upset, or the executives that did the polling and the research and the respondents were saying this is the fault of the colleges and universities for not preparing students in this world. So, what can we do to get this better? The disconnect. Communication written, emails, proposals, subjects, projects, anything in the written form. What employers are seeing is it's not making too much sense. A lot of just grammatical errors. It's kind of like it's one long tweet or a very strange text that comes across their desk. That's the written form. And of course, the verbal form. Friends, we have to communicate. We have to communicate to our customers, to our collaborators, to our co-workers, to our principals, which would be those who are funding our projects. And we need that very, very succinct communication. And that's a big question as employers ask us, what's happening? And critical thinking. You know, yes, we can do the work. But do we know what the work becomes? How is it a part of the bigger process? Can we connect all the dots? We're looking for the initiative. Employers are saying, we want that employee, A, to solve problems. And friends, that is the only reason that you or I am hired to do a job. We need to be problem solvers. We need to solve problems for people, for our customers. The entrepreneur sees a problem and knows how to solve that and in turn create a business from that. Need that initiative, got to be developing their next project. So employers are not wanting you to be told what to do. They want you to come up with the idea and say, hey, I'd like to run with this project. Again, if we mapped it out, here are some of the desired skills, and they're all desired, my friends. But again, we have from our ethical standpoint to our initiative, to our customer focus, to our own focus, our leadership. But you see right down in here, creativity, motivation, teamwork, working in teams together, which is tremendous amounts of writing or communication. Desired skills from employers as we start to market ourselves. And this is a key component. Emotional intelligence. From what employers have said, too many college graduates have become very high maintenance and have low output. Instead of solving problems, we see a lot of new employees causing or creating problems at work. And so, what can we do, Tarrant County College, as an institution to help you with this? Well, hopefully this presentation will start to unpack some great things for you, and again, how you can pull applications you can apply to yourself as you get into the workforce, your professional workforce. So, emotional intelligence, what does it look like? How can we increase this skill? Again, we have our intelligence, we have our personality, and right in here we have put that together for our emotional intelligence. And research upon research upon research shows you do not have to be the smartest person, okay? You do not have to make a 100 on everything. What we need to do is to be able to work with people, understand each other's makeup, get along, help, mentor, coach, and get the best out of people. The person who can do that should have a very long and enjoyable professional career. So, let's kind of define what emotional intelligence is, and then maybe some strategies of how we can gain some more of our of this great feature that we need in the workforce. A, the ability to monitor one's own and other people's emotions. Got to be able to discriminate between different emotions and label them properly. Hey, every day is not going to be perfect. We know that. Got to understand our own makeup. And then again, how to use emotional information to guide one's thinking and behavior. In years gone by, this was maturity and wisdom. And the way you gain that wisdom and, of course, that maturity is by your experiences in life. This does not happen overnight. It is a lifelong skill that you develop. And that's what we want to do to be able to develop this. So, Daniel Goleman is one of the foremost writers and authors and industrial psychologists on emotional intelligence. And this came from his Harvard Business Review article several years ago. There's basically, if we can kind of put some parameters around emotional intelligence, it's 5 key ingredients: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Again, let's look at this in depth. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your own moods, emotions, and drives, as well as their effect on others. Hey, are we going to have some bad days in the workplace, at school, in our family, in our personal lives? Absolutely, absolutely. And if we're in a very upset mood, if we're very down, if something's gone wrong, if we're overwhelmed, if our anxiety levels are high, and we don't recognize that, do you think that has a reaction on other people? Absolutely. It's almost like Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction to another body as a force. And so if I come in just very upset and you're all working with me, you're going to see that very quickly, and I'm probably going to spread a lot of negativity, and you may even catch a lot of my own anxieties. If we're able to understand ourselves and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put this behind me. Just remember, my friends, always, the sun will still set tomorrow. We're not going to come off the Earth's axis. It will not end tomorrow. It's another day. We're going to be all right. When we can understand this and understand our own moods and how they affect others, here's what the results. You become very self-confident. You have a realistic self-assessment that, you know what, I'm not perfect. It's not an Instagram perfect picture every time. It's not what life is. And you can start having a self-depreciating sense of humor. When you're able to have fun with yourself and make fun of yourself, you don't take yourself so seriously. And that really results in the things that we want to have happen. We have self-awareness, we have self-regulation. Again, now that we understand our emotions, can we redirect them? Moods and drives, because of the effect on others. What we like to think of that is think before acting or reacting. There's always a stimulus that can drive us crazy. Hey, someone cuts us off in traffic. Okay, somebody makes us upset at work. Somebody makes us upset in our family or our school. How are we going to react? There's something in the middle that's called a pause. And that's the thinking before reacting. And that pause, my friends, is freedom. It's freedom because we can control how we're going to react. If I come in again and somebody says something wrong to me in the workplace and I just start yelling and screaming, does anybody want to work with Randy? More than likely not. Yeah, absolutely. When you understand this and you be able to redirect those moods and impulses, people become trusting you. You have integrity, comfort with ambiguity. It would be great if every day was just perfect like the day before and work went so well and nobody complained and everything was really nice, but that's just not the way the world works, and we're living in some of the strangest times in history, are we not? You've got to get comfortable with ambiguity, and that's not easy. Ambiguity means I don't even know exactly what I'm supposed to do, but I have an idea where I'm going. Got to be openness to change. Hey, I love doing stuff my way. Maybe you do too. And when someone confronts that and says, well, Randy, what if we did it this way? I want you to think about this. We got to be, if we're open to that and comfortable with that ambiguity, we don't redirect and say, hey, I'm only doing it my way. Great results happen to us, my friends, because this is a world that changes by the second, and the workplace, my friends, changes by the second. So we've got to be able to move and groove, so to speak. Motivation, huge part of emotional intelligence. Am I just showing up to work and pushing a paper from one side of the desk to the other, or hitting a few computer keys and just waiting until, pardon me, until 5 o'clock comes? Okay? There is the passion, the reasons that we go to work. It's got to be beyond just getting that paycheck. You pursue goals with energy and persistence. Hopefully you'll have a curiosity in learning and a deep desire to help others. When this comes together, the results that you have and the results that you produce, you have that strong desire to achieve. Optimism, even in the face of pain and failure. Many young students want to be their own boss. They want to be the entrepreneur, which is fantastic. We need that. We need that in our economy. We need it in our nation. You need to be very optimistic, because you have a 60 to 70% chance that your business you start today won't even make it to year 2 or barely to year 3. Hey, we've got to be optimistic. Absolutely. And even in the face of failure, failure is okay. I don't know what has happened in our educational system that so many students, and I teach them all the time, that if they don't get it perfect, they're a failure. If they don't get the 100, they're a failure. I wish I could wipe that out of everyone's mind. I think you'll see in life, and the more experience you have, that you will always learn much more from, quote, a failure or something that didn't go right than you will ever learn from success. So don't be afraid of that. Be optimistic. We'll learn how to do it better next time. Of course, the organizational commitment. When you have an employee who works for you someday, that's motivated, loves to come to work. Oh boy, that's great, and that's what our employers want to see. I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. Now, if anyone had reason for failure to accept that, it would have been Thomas Edison. And yet, I believe he is still, as a single person, has more patents than any other person in the history of the United States. And he failed so many different times, but he picked himself back up. Good lessons we can learn there. Empathy. We're in the workplace, we're in school, we're in the family. We've got to understand the emotional makeup of other people. I'm sure you've seen some people who could care less about you, bosses that could care less about you. It happens. That's just life. But the ones who understand you and try to help you through different times, that's a great skill to have. You can meet people according to their emotional reactions, and it's a great attribute for you, because you'll deal with customers who aren't doing well. How can you solve their problem or help their problem go away? That's great empathy. The result is you have expertise in building and retaining talent. When you are that boss or you work for that boss, I believe, who has had great empathy skills and done things for you to help you get through rough times, you really want to perform for them. You really want to work hard and keep that boss. And so they have a great time of retaining the talent. You have the great sensitivity to different cultures, and you have that great service to clients and customers. And of course, we have the social skills, building relationships and building networks. My friends, right now, depending on where you are in life, if you are in school and you're just starting this process, and the biggest thing you can do right now is build those relationships with people, with your professors, with potential employees, trying to find that common ground. You'll find that there are two major types of power in life and power in the workplace. There's legitimate and coercive power. If I am your boss and I say, John, you need to do this or you will be fired, that's very coercive power, isn't it? It's legitimate if I do have the power. I probably made you afraid of me, and sometimes that gets the job done. I don't think it's the best way to ever have power. The best results to get from people is when you have referent or expert power. I may not be, or you may not be over me, but I respect you so much because you're the person that can solve problems. When people go to you, they always come out positive. We refer the power to you because we believe that you have the expert opinion, and people want to flock to that. So you choose what type of power you're going to want through, what you want to have in life. And I think you'll see that the referent power will always be the one that produces great results. Again, the results here are effectiveness in leading change, persuasiveness, which means I agree with what you say, and expertise in building and leading teams when it's that referent power. The social skills we have. There are the 5 components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Okay, great. I just told them to you. You are now an expert in emotional intelligence, correct? Well, we're getting there. Just remember, it doesn't happen overnight. There's always setbacks, but what do? We pick ourselves back up and we learn from it, and we strive to have a better amount of emotional intelligence. And how can we do that? Well, let's just look and see how you can read people. I think you can read people if they have high or low emotional intelligence. If somebody that you know is always aggressive, demanding, bossy, confrontational, if they're kind of just always distracted, they don't care about, they don't listen to you, they're very impulsive, which means, I think I'll just do this today. If they're quite resistant to change, again, the passiveness is, well, whatever you said, I'm not listening to you. I'm just going to do it my way. Unresponsive, stubborn, critical, very hard to please. And there's the worst thing I think any of us can be, right in here, perfectionist. You say, why do you say that? Because when you go to perfectionist, that means nothing is ever right. Even if it's good, it's not good enough. Don't get into that, my friends. Wipe that from your brains. There's no hundreds. Throw that out. As a professor, I have students come up and say, how come I didn't get 100 on that? Hey, you got a 96. 96 is a lockdown A in a college level class. I thought your work was excellent. Oh, I needed 100. Don't do that. You set yourselves up for some failure in life. All those, probably low emotional intelligence. What about someone who's assertive? Yes, this is what we want to do. Yes, they're strong-willed, but they're decisive. They're warm, they're enthusiastic, they're very persuasive, they're patient, they're predictable, they're consistent. The consistency right there. They listen, they're detailed, they're instead of perfectionists, they're meticulous. They are systematic. Which one do we want to be? Which one can you start reading in the workplace? This is where the traits that are going to really get you a very successful and happy, satisfied career. Oh, the great Bob Marley. The truth is, everybody is going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for. Friends, that is a very true statement. We've all been hurt. We've all had pain. sometimes by the people that are closest to us. Who's worth suffering for? And I think you have to understand that. We would say our family, hopefully, some of our very close friends, our loved ones. Is work worth suffering for? I don't know. Sometimes, many times not. What about that person this morning as I was driving into work and they cut me off on the road and I got so mad I was honking and yelling and screaming, and all of a sudden I found myself sweating, and I went through the entire stress response system, and that person didn't even see me. They didn't even look at me. They're long gone, and here I am for the next hour so upset of what has happened to them because they cut me off. That's suffering that I did, and it's not worth it. Find out those we're suffering for so you don't suffer for every single person in life that makes you upset. Okay? That helps out so much. Thank you, Bob. Now, we have a little better understanding of emotional intelligence. What are a few techniques that I can use on a daily basis to strengthen this? Well, I'm going to give you 2 quick keys. If you could do a couple of things, this would make it very strong for you. Become proactive. All right? Start planning for the future. And the future is tomorrow, okay? So start planning for that. And you're going to come in contact with so many people, but those ones that are worth suffering for, okay, the ones you work with, the ones you love, we've got to build an emotional bank account with other people. And that's what we're going to look at next. So becoming proactive, we want to plan ahead, my friends. We want to start happening to things. When you start happening to things, your focus and attention becomes on the long term. You start planning your future and your events. Don't let things happen to you. Now, this is from Dr. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a great book to read. Reactive people believe that, you know what, whatever happens, I have no control. Whatever I do has no effect on the circumstances. You know what, it's just hopelessness. That's not what we ever want to become. We want to be in the driver's seat. My friends, you do control this in life. You control your own narrative. And that is your story. Don't let anyone else control that. If you can start thinking in these terms, you have put yourself in the 90th to possibly the 98th percentile, because maybe, at best case scenario, maybe 10% of the world's population is proactive, and it's more like 2%. So, let's keep fleshing this out. Proactive people will not accept that there is nothing that can be done about the events of daily life. There are always a choice, okay? We always have choices. You may not have control, and you do not have control over what life throws at you, but you always have the choice of how you're going to respond. And so here's from Viktor Frankl again. You have the stimulus and the response, and between the two is the pause. And the pause, my friends, that's where our freedom lies. We have the choice how we're going to respond. When you start looking at your life, your career, your school, everything you do in a proactive sense, you'll start making very big positive differences to almost everything, professional as well as your personal life. And the proactive stage, well, we have to create a vision. The great Steve Jobs, passion is really meaningless without a vision. A vision is how you're going to make the world a better place. That was his vision. How do we have our own vision? Again, this is your narrative. This is your story. Begin with the end in mind. Paint a mental picture of what, if you're working on a project, your career, your life, what it wants to look like. Now, don't get into the minutia of everything where you're trying to granulize every event you're going to do. Just have the big picture. Hey, I'm going to be a social media coordinator in a few years. I'm going to have my own business. I may go for my graduate degree. I want to live in this area of the United States or the world, and just paint that picture. Maybe you want to improve personal performance. Would we all like better grades? Most of us would. Building better relationships. I want to graduate with a specific degree. Again, begin with the end in mind. If you want to be proactive and you want things to happen and you're happening to things, then you're going to have to set goals. Great. Proactive people always set goals. Well, you have probably heard this before, but let's keep diving. You need a SMART goal. I want to be good. I want to be great. Well, that's not a goal. That's an axiom, isn't it? That's just a little saying. A SMART goal is specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's time limited. Now, let's just pick apart every piece of that. You've got a goal. It needs to be specific. A specific goal will generally answer these three questions. What do I want to accomplish? What are the benefits of accomplishing the goal? Who's involved? What are the requirements or the constraints? So, let's start with the goal. I want to be smart. I want to do good in school. Okay, well, if you do good, that's fine. You could graduate with a 2.0 GPA. That is the college's, every college and university's basic definition of a good standing degree. Okay. Or do you want to graduate with 3.8 GPA? Okay, a little more specific, little things I have to do. I'm going to pick one. I teach personal finance and saving money. That's a big goal. For most American families are not saving money. So that's what I want to accomplish. Now, if I say I want to save some money this year, and on January 1, if I had $500 in my savings account, and on December 31st of the same year, I have $501, well, I guess theoretically I saved some money, but does it mean anything? No. If you tack on inflation, that actually, you lost money. So, we want to be specific. I want to save $20,000 this year. Okay. Well, that's what you want to accomplish. The benefits of saving money is, man, I got money in the future that I can spend. How great is that? Who's involved with the requirements and constraints? Okay, that's very specific. I want to save $20,000 by the end of the year. Okay, by December 31st. Very specific. Is it measurable? A measurable goal answers these questions, such as how much, how many, how will I know when it's accomplished? Okay, $20,000, that's how much. How do I know when it's accomplished? Well, when I see it in my bank account is $20,500. Great, hey, I think I'm working here pretty well. Okay, specific, measurable, attainable. An attainable goal says this: can this goal be accomplished? Do I have the resources and abilities for completion? Now, the average bank account in the United States, set aside from the very, very wealthy, we take them out of the equation, it's more like your median balance of a savings account is between $600 and $700 in the United States. So that means a lot of people cannot save the money, or they haven't before. I picked a pretty good sized number there, and doing the math, I would need to be probably making a $200,000 income or above, saving 10%. I don't know if $20,000, I think I overdid it. And we want to make those goals attainable. Okay? So let's take a zero out. Let's take 2,000. Okay. Well, 2,000 would be great. Okay. It's specific. It's measurable. I think it's more attainable because when I do some more math, that's $167 a month. That's about $42 a week. In fact, at 52 weeks, it's actually less than, it's about $38 a week. Okay, I might be able to do that. All right. More attainable. Relevant. Relevant goal answer these questions. Is it worthwhile? Is this the right time to do it? Does it match the efforts, our needs? Are you the right person to accomplish this goal? Relevancy is very important because in the workplace, as you become managers and leaders and supervisors and just working, you're going to see people, I've seen it many times, that are doing something just to keep them employed because it doesn't really seem worthwhile for anyone else to do it. Can you duplicate this? Can your project be duplicable or duplicated so someone else can do it and get good results from it? Are you the right person to accomplish this goal? Interesting. Very important to have a relevant goal. And of course, time limited. Time limited goal will answer these questions. When will it be accomplished? More so than that, what can I do 6 months, 6 weeks from now? What can I start doing today? Again, if I said I just wanted to save money, even if I said I wanted to save $220 or $20,000 and it was 60 years in the process, doesn't mean much. We want to know exactly what we can be doing at any given time. And then when an employee brings you their goals to you, you can say, okay, well that means, you can be doing something this week to attain that goal. SMART goal. If you have that SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound, got a good goal. Now that we've said that, goals can be great, but they can also be stumbling blocks. So what are you saying here, man? You just tell me I need goals. You do. But what gets the goal? You've got the goal. It's a system that accomplishes the goal. If I could get you to read one book this year, it would be this one, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Go ahead and Google him up as you're watching this and get that book from either Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you want to go and get that. Get it used or new. It is a great book on how to get things done, and it's really small changes can be remarkable results. We've got to have a goal or a system to make that, we got to have the system or the habit to make that goal happen. Okay? I'm going to show you why. All right, let's say it's a brand new year. Better health. Probably the majority of New Year's resolutions start at least with this one, and they start with saving money, by the way. Hey, if you have good health, man, that's like $1 million or $2 million in the bank. And I can attest to that because my mother is in an assisted living facility, and it is very expensive to keep her where she is right now. So good health, my friends, always strive for it. So it's a brand new year. You say this: I want to be better physical condition and healthier lifestyle. So it's New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, and you're writing this down. I'm going to do strength conditioning. I'm going to hit it 5 times a week. 5 days a week, I'm nailing this. No more soft drinks, no more junk food, no more sugar, no more alcohol. I'm going vegan, vegetarian, high fiber, high protein diet. And I'm starting my workouts like crazy. And then what happens? Well, the weather gets bad, things happen, and reality hits on about week 3. Oh no, I forgot to work out. I didn't work out for a week. Work got to me. I got sick, got busy, tired. You know what? I'm going to do this next year. Next year is my year, and I'm going to do that. And how many times have people said that until it could be too late? You just never want to get into that shape. Wow, what happened? Did we, maybe we went about it in the wrong way. What can a habit do for you? What can a tiny gain do for you? This is very interesting. You can get out your phone, put in the scientific mode calculation. Just means basically flip it horizontal so you have more to choose from. If you got 1% better every day at something, again, this is marketing ourselves, my friends. How do we get better at doing something? You probably wouldn't notice 1%. I mean, I'm a little better than I was yesterday. I'm very little better than I was yesterday. But after a year, let's do a formula here. You put 1.01 in the XY feature of your phone, and then put 365, that's your exponent, that's every day of the year. By the end of the year, you are 38, almost 40% better than when you started. That is a tremendous improvement. You're 40% stronger than you were at the beginning. You're smarter. You're reading better. Whatever the goal is. Isn't that amazing? Hey, This works in the opposite direction. We can use regression analysis. So if we want to lose 1% every day, we go 0.99 to 365. Now put that in your phone, in your scientific calculator. Again, this is the X, this is the Y. You come out with 0.03, which means you've almost lost that skill. And then as the years go by, it gets to negative numbers. You're declining and declining. I mean, it didn't get negative, but the zeros would just keep going out that way. And it happens. Hey, it happened to my father, whom I loved very much. He was the smartest person I've in my life, and he had such great advice. And when he retired, he was able to retire very early in 1990. And he said, son, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to rest and relax. And that's what he did. And he stopped exercising. He stopped reading as much. He didn't work nearly as hard. He was an engineer. He could fix anything you ever thought about fixing. He could do it. And I just saw him decline and decline. And that's why I look at this. It does happen. We want to get better at something every single day. Small little habits. All right. Well, we talked about good health, or whatever you're trying to achieve as we market ourselves. Let's look at good health. What if every day before we woke up and then we went to bed, we did some stretching? You're going to find as you mature and get older that your flexibility goes down very fast. So if you stretch, what if you did 10 push-ups, 10 simple push-ups, 20 sit-ups or 20 crunches, 10 squats, and in the morning you made a green smoothie and you read 10 pages of a book. And then at night, you probably just wouldn't have that green smoothie. You would do your push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and you would read 10 pages of the book. By the end of a year, now that's not much. That's not 10. That's not much. That's not much at all. 10, 10, 10. All right, 20 sit-ups. Good. At the end of the year, don't you think you'd be in better strength? Probably better overall health? You'd have read 8 novels just by a little habit. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Wait a second, let's get back to something other. Let's get back to that saving that money. The goal. Saving $2,000 a year. If you wait until December 31st of this year or next year or whatever year, and you say, okay, I'm going to write a check, I'm going to put it in my savings account, $2,000. Very few people could do that. 90% of Americans could not do that. That's over 270 million people. No way, because we're broke after Christmas. I'll do it next year. Well, what if I did $167 a month at the end of the month? You'll find out, and again, I teach personal finance, BUSI 1307. It's a great course. You'll find out that if you wait till the very last day of the month to pay yourself, there's nothing left. You're not going to pay yourself. You've spent it on different things. So let's get a system. Let's break that system down even more. We know we need to save $167 a month. Now, a WBS is called a work breakdown structure in project management. We break something down to its smallest component. I need to save $38.50 a week. Let's do this. Let's do a reoccurring transfer from our debit to our savings account every Monday for $38.50. You do $38.50 times 52 weeks, you're going to come up with $2,000. 5 years, you got 10 grand. Now, think of where you are right now. If you're in your teens, your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, doesn't really matter, but obviously the younger you are, you can make this work so much better for you. 5 years, you got $10,000 in that bank account. $38.50, you know what? Sometimes we want to break that down even more. What if we just did a $19.25 on Monday and then on Friday? You might look back and say, shoot, I go to Starbucks, I go to Chipotle and spend more than that. Makes it very easy. In fact, it makes it painless. I can only do $1,000 a year. Okay, so we just do $19.50 a week, or we do basically $9.75 Mondays and Fridays. In 5 years, you still got that $5,000. I can only do $500 a year. I can put $9.50. There's a burrito right there at Chipotle. I think that's with guacamole. And you still are on. You're still making the system work. And then when income becomes better, you can up those numbers. Atomic habits. That's how our goals will succeed. Get yourself a good habit. I tell you what, these habits follow you in your work and everything you do. And it is an amazing way of marketing yourself because you get things done. You make it obvious, you make it attractive, you make it so easy that you don't even think about it, and you make it satisfying. After those few weeks, your habits become very automatic. In fact, you think something is wrong if you don't do it. We need, my friends, to also think about creating an emotional bank account. Those are to the people that we come in contact with. This helps with our emotional intelligence. And again, it's all back to the person as you're creating your story, as you're marketing yourself on a daily basis. We'll make a deposit and a withdrawal to people we come in contact with. From Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And from William Van Gote, things that matter most should never be at the mercy to the things which matter least. Think of this. This is your life. This is your vessel. Let's say this is your week or this is your day. We have big rocks in our lives. These are tasks we've got to get done. In the workforce, it's a project. Okay? It may be several projects. In school, it may be projects as well, and it's tests and it's grades. In personal life, this may be our commitments to our loved ones, to our family, to our spouses, to our children. And these are too. These are small little tasks, things that have to get done. And this is the sand of life. This is everything else that gets in the way. And these 3 items have to fit in your schedule somehow because you have a limited amount of time. Let's take a look right here. Here's what happened. There's my schedule, there's my day, there's my week. And I got some really big rocks that never were attended to. Okay, that was my daughter's play I was supposed to get to. That was my son's game that I was going to go see. Those were my parents. That was right in here. My spouse, that we were going to do some things together. These things got done, but whoa. If you look down here, this is kind of where the priorities was the first thing that was said. Oh my gosh, this was being on social media, being on Instagram, oh my TikTok, that I just couldn't stop. All that ate up hours and hours and hours of my week until I finally got some little things done and a couple of big things, but I'm messed up bad. What happened here? Okay, I got the big stuff done. I got my other projects done. And in the way, in the time, there was these meetings, there were the phone calls, there were the texts, there was some just decompressing and doing the TikTok or the social media or buying stuff on eBay and Amazon just to de-stress a little bit. But I made sure that this got done and this got done before everything else just wiped me out. This is how we build trust. By the way, if this were the things from our families or our bosses that needed to get done and did not, I don't think I built a lot of trust with them. I think I let some people down. Yeah. Oh, trust. It's the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It is the foundational principle that every relationship rests upon. Trust takes a lifetime to build. It takes 1 second to break, and it takes forever to regain it. Remember that, my friends. How do we build these deposits? How do we build the trust in the workplace? And of course, it goes into your professional and in your personal life as well. In the workplace, it's attention to detail. It's not procrastinating. You've had projects in school that you've had to work with people, and there's the one person, it's Randy, it's me, who doesn't show up, who never answers the email or the text, who never does his thing, and yet I get to ride free on your grade. Attention to detail. Hey, showing up to work, getting ready to work. Again, appropriate attire. That is a big one for an older workforce. They want to see that. Completing the work. Working with the team, the initiative, all of these things right in here, the personal integrity. Are we ever going to make mistakes? Are we going to make some people upset? That's Dr. Stephen Covey right there. You apologize sincerely for a withdrawal. Hey, If I've made enough deposits with you and I did mess up, and I said, man, I am sorry, I blew it, you're more than likely going to say, Randy, I understand that that's not the person you are. Something went wrong. I can appreciate that. If I am always making withdrawals from your bank account, your emotional bank account, and I never make a deposit, what happens? You don't want to talk to me. You want to avoid me because you know Randy's a taker. He's not a giver. You give in those deposits. Hey, you know what? People can forgive you for that. And when you do make a withdrawal, apologize sincerely. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the great German philosopher, a good person, apologizes for their mistakes of the past. A great person corrects those mistakes of the past. When you have the ability, my friends, to correct a mistake, do it. That will start rebuilding that bridge of trust with anyone else you have. If I could give you one key in the workplace, building that trust, this is it. Under promise and over deliver. If you over promise and under deliver, you flip that, and your career's going down the tubes. Again, it's someone that Randy always says, "Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that." You know, someone, "I'll do this. I'll do it," and it never gets done. No. Hey, I tell you what. You need that package. You need that project. You need this done by next Wednesday. I've got it for you, and then you deliver it by Monday, 2 days early. Oh wow. Hey, you're the type of person who gets things done. So don't set those exceptions so high that you can't deliver. Set your expectations that you can meet and exceed them. Under promise, over deliver. It's a great key to your professional work. As we create our vision, my friends, and you're creating your narrative, I think this is very important. Create yourself a personal mission statement. You know, I teach business, and every business course, every management course, every marketing course, we have to have a vision. We have to have a story, and that's so important because that's what we're doing in life. We're telling our story. So, do you have a mission statement yourself? And that could be about what's my life about, what's my purpose, what do I stand for, what are the values, and what I have accomplished and what I'd like to accomplish. And again, just Google up writing a personal mission statement, and you'll probably get one by Stephen Covey. And because it's this is your guide in life. It's very, very important for you. If you were to write one, this is what you should do. What do I value most in life? Put that down. And most of you are in career development right now, more than likely. A good portion of you are. So as you go and you write this, as you interview for the jobs that you want, and that is the key of marketing yourself. When you start interviewing, you'll have these questions down. What do I value most in life? This is the one that I ask the most when I'm on an interview committee. What has been your most important accomplishment? So put that down. Maybe it's been in school. Maybe you worked full-time and you went to school full-time. Maybe you created a project. Maybe you did something for your family that you thought was the most important thing if you don't have enough work experience yet, or what have you done? And there should be several examples that you can give. Write those down. What are your strengths? And again, you can say, oh, I'm good at doing certain things. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But you could also look at it from the standpoint of, what makes you strong? That is, what are the things you do that you really get strength from? Is it public speaking? Is it creating? Is it drawing? Is it designing? Is it helping people? And how? And try to really delineate that as much as you possibly can. What are you trying to receive from a college education? What type of career are you trying to attain? What organization do you want to work for? Do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to work for a small company so you can gain a lot of experience? Do you want to work for a very large company where you can have a long time career? Any of that's fine. But it makes it better when you know you're driving it. Okay? Many of us can't figure out what we want to do, and so we take anything that comes along, and I understand and appreciate that. I've done it. But if you could wake up tomorrow morning, you could paint a picture. What would your ideal day be? a work day? I mean, again, where would you be working? Inside, outside, for yourself, small? Kind of paint that picture out there. That'll really help you, certainly in career development, and also put the things that you do not want to do. Okay, and that way you can stay away from that. My professional, my personal life, what I want to achieve, how people describe me, and again, you wrap this up with these are the things that I can bring to this organization. And again, what is that picture? 10 years may be too long, but 5 years, what type of goal? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Again, you're painting that picture. And you look at that and you update that on a yearly basis. I do, and I look at it, and you know what? I put down I wanted to be a college professor, and I put it down about 20 years ago. Actually, no, I put it down, well, I don't want to tell you how long it's been, but it's been well over 20 years. It took that long to get it, but it was always my mission. And so, and I worked at it in different ways to get to where I am now. So, I wish you the same success, my friends. Have your elevator pitch. You're bringing all of this together. You never know who you're going to meet in life. The younger you are, you never know. And so someone may ask, hey, man, hey, what are you going to do? 90 seconds, your elevator, in 90 seconds or less, who you are, what you're trying to do, where you're going, and how are you getting there. Okay? The entrepreneur needs to be able to do this in 60 seconds. Someone comes up, hey, you know, Gabrielle, tell me about your business idea. You've got to be able to tell very succinctly what you're doing, why you're so good at it. And somebody said, okay, you know what? I want to invest in that. Just tell me how you're different. So, very few people will spend more than 90 seconds trying to listen to you or know you at that first impression. We have a very limited amount of time to where we can get our idea across. So that is a few things we need to start working on. As we conclude with marketing ourselves, my friends, I certainly appreciate you watching this presentation. Protect this. Protect your digital footprint. Clean it up today. There's so much out there. You know that. I can assure you that organizations will look at your social media. They'll look at it as they hire you, and they're going to look at it as you are employed with them. And there is so much toxicity. There's so much toxicity in our political environment and almost everything in the world today. Don't get caught up in it is my advice, because the second you are doing something the organization doesn't like on social media, those are fireable offenses. So clean it up. Be very positive on everything you're doing. And get this. Get LinkedIn. Okay? You need your LinkedIn profile. That's something, I think this is where you're going to tell your work story. Okay? Create it today if you don't have one already. This will become your online resume. Get your professors to recommend you. Get your professors on to link in with you and to basically endorse you for skills. Very important. So start building your LinkedIn now, because again, it's going to be your resume of the future. In fact, many organizations that I have seen as I've worked with students, they basically say, put your LinkedIn link web right here and we'll do the rest. That's all we need to see. Microsoft owns it. They have put a ton of money, because they have tons and tons of money into this. So it's very powerful, and it is your professional career networking. So make sure that's good. Get a good picture. Make it look excellent. The future, my friends. I think this is very important for us to understand, all of us, is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We're going to have to be able to change very quickly in the next few years and for the rest of our career field. Our plans may not go exactly the way that we thought they would or that we want to. That's just what happens. But we can do this. We can prepare for the opportunities that we would like to see happen. And when they present themselves, we will be ready to take advantage of them. I thank you for watching this presentation today. Again, my name is Randy Saleh. I am Assistant Professor of Business, Tarrant County College, Northeast Campus. If you're interested in the courses that I teach Marketing 1311, Principles of Marketing. I teach BUSI 1307, which is Personal Finance, and I teach BUSI 1301, Business Principles, both online and on the Northeast campus. Make it a great day.